What's up guys, this is Irwan from Cosmic Fury, and on this episode I'll be reviewing The Next Testament. Yo! So alright, to those guys who have subscribed to our channel so far, a big shout out to all of you for sticking with what we have been doing so far. Talks on comics, movies, toy reviews, and especially a lot on comics. On comics, exactly. So yeah, finally we're gonna move forward into like more reviews on comic books itself. This is hopefully one of the many in the coming future. Alright, so if you're gonna hear a little bit of like gear sounds, is my camera. I'm putting it on autofocus, so don't mind the gear sounds and whatnot. And so yeah, in this episode I'm gonna be talking and reviewing mostly on The Next Testament here. Right. So if you see a lot of plastic, I actually did a shrink wrap session yesterday on most of my trade paperbacks. So let's see if you can get a zoom here. Alright, so The Next Testament is being released by Boom Studios. If you are familiar with this studio, this is one of those studios where is pretty much, wait, let me get a zoom here. Yeah, which is pretty much being operated by Stan Lee, who's famous for being the absolute Marvel guy. Let me switch something off here. Yeah, my autofocus is just I think it's a bit high. So yeah, back to the review. Sorry about that. So yeah, The Next Testament by Clive Barker's Next Testament. I was like randomly shopping around some stuff with Rashid the other like some time back, and we were at Kinokuniya at the time. So when I saw Clive Barker, immediately this is the name that reminds me a lot of Hellraiser stuff, because he is the man who made Hellraiser possible, because his mind works differently, I suppose, because he created Hellraiser and the franchise that it is now. And the moment I saw this, I was like, Next Testament by Clive Barker. And this is the cover itself is a big contrast to what Hellraiser is, because Hellraiser it's really like how I would say gritty and very gore kind of, like hell, hence the name Hellraiser. And The Next Testament, a very big contrast. You don't see anything gory, but a very trippy sort of cover. And upon holding on to the trade paperback, I can feel that there's the design, all this, there's actually a little bit of embossing that goes around on the design. Mine has already been like so-called shrink wrap a little bit. So, but if you were to buy it and take it out from its cover, you can actually feel the emboss, which is kind of cool effect. Really nice. So alright, before I actually move into the book itself, this is volume 1. See that? Yeah, this is volume 1, The Next Testament, Clive Barker. And so the writers involved in this is obviously is mostly done by Clive Barker, and together with Mark Miller. The one in charge of the drawings and such is Hemi Jang. To what I remember, these guys are heavily involved in the Hellraiser project, especially the ones that is being released by Boom Studios. So yeah, pretty much all of them are involved in the Hellraiser releases, because Hellraiser has a few series that it goes under, and pretty much these guys are involved in mostly in their releases. And especially for this guy, Victor Laville, he's gonna be the guy doing the introduction in this book, but he's also another guy who's involved in another one of the Hellraiser releases. So yeah, these guys have been working with each other for numerous times, so pretty much very involved in Boom Studio releases, especially Hellraiser. Alright, let's move on to the back. This is what the back looks like. And again, another point which I find that the book actually caught my attention was that God is back, God help us all. Anything to do with religion, usually, like, you know, if I think that it might actually struck a chord in, you know, the religious aspect of things, I would actually pay attention to it. And so yeah, right off the bat, there's a few synopsis that goes on at the back here. So here's a little read. Yep. So yeah, I bought that Kinokuniya, a shrink wrap with the price tag in it too. Yeah, not a big deal, but I just slap it on in. That's how much I bought it. So, but if you're a member, you can definitely get a discount on this. And so yeah, that's the back part of it. Yeah, there you have it, Boom Studios. Now let's move on in. So Trippy, this is volume 1. Right, let's have a little zoom. Alright, here. As you can see, if you ever read or know the Hellraiser franchise itself, it looks nothing like this. The artwork and the feel, it is a very big contrast to this. So you gotta be a little bit curious on like what exactly Clive Barker has done in this book. So yeah, this is the chapter 1 of it. Oh, I missed a page. Right. So there's an introduction that is being done by Victor Laval. It's a whole page of he writing it out on how he actually found or experienced Hellraiser for the first time. For me, I think the very first time I actually I would say experienced anything to do with Hellraiser was I think it was on a VCD, or was it on a VHS, I can't remember. But I was pretty young at the time, and man, it was some gory shit. So at the time when I watched it, I was like, whoa man, this is scary. And you know, the amount of blood and the amount of death that went into it. Yeah, it was pretty crazy at the time. But as time goes by, as I got older, I came to appreciate the art actually that goes into it, and the amount of work and passion to get that like at the time 80s, you can get mostly a lot of things they can get away with it, especially for the graphics and stuff. So it was pretty much an effort and art at the time. So alright, so let's move on to the story and the art. So yeah, before I actually go any more further, there's gonna be somewhat of spoilers, so if you think you're gonna like turn away due to the spoilers, please do so. But if not, let's enjoy the ride together. Alright, the art itself, so what goes about here, right, let me just try to zoom out here. Right, so what goes on about, firstly, it kind of I think the intro does feel a little bit familiar as to what has been done in the Hellraiser series before, where somebody or some unfortunate soul trying to find some kind of, you know, like answer and stuff. And fortunately, this guy by the name of Julian, he seems to have some kind of dream which guides him to this some kind of pyramid and stuff. This definitely feels familiar, especially in the Hellraiser series, you know, because the Hellraiser has this cube thing that goes on and releases this Cenobites. The same thing nearly goes the same, but there's not a lot of Cenobites that goes in this series so far. But there's actually one, I would say, entity that was released in it. So yeah, pretty much it's not a cube or anything, but a giant ass pyramid of some sort with logos and stuff. where this entity is being released. How unfortunate. Yeah, same kind of like introduction as what you would find in Hellraiser. So yeah, this Julian eventually breaks the entire pyramid, and so the life form or this entity has been released from its prison, more or less, and he's one colorful dude. And the interesting part immediately shows that there, Julian bows down to him and says, "My God." And yes, basically in this whole story, this guy right here, this entity or whatever he is, so far he's claiming to be God, and the stuff that goes inside here, very ungodly. So yeah, and moving along, yeah, this, as you can see, this is like in Hellraiser you have Pinhead, and the next testament you have this guy. He goes by the name of Wick. Not a very god-like name, but yeah, that's what he goes by. Wick, as in if you was like see the movie John Wick, yeah, W-I-C-K. And alright, let's move on. This is one of the main characters that is involved in this storyline. This is Julian's son, the guy who broke out the hammer and stuff. This is his son, and this is the girlfriend. So far, they are the main center point for the character and stuff, because they haven't died yet. So there's a lot of people who die in this series, and they seem to be very important, and there's some kind of connection between them and Wick, which is has yet to be like revealed itself. So yeah, the plot really has kind of like a slow pace of the introductory, because you are really curious of what exactly Wick is. You know, like he proclaims himself to be God essentially, which is pretty weird, considering, you know, like you would never imagine God to be like that, you know, or anything, you know, because the point of time or the moment you hear somebody or something claiming to be God, like a lot of blasphemy things, you know, like will go on, and people are like, no, this is blasphemy, you can't say that it's God and stuff like that, you know, those kind of things. This is really sensitive. So yeah, this is a really interesting thing to read. And alright, so like moving along, and basically Wick gets a tour of Julian's campsite where he's trying to dig out the artifact and stuff. And this guy, like, look at him. Would you ever in a time ever imagine God to be looking like that? You know, the God of colors. You would never imagine at all. Me neither. So alright, let's get into the line a little bit. Let's see how he talks. Alright, let me get a zoom here. Alright. Superb. It has been too long since I received sacrament. Is she alive? Curious. You did not ask if she felt pain. Alright, so basically what he does, you know, is equivalent to what you think a Satan would do, or a demon would do. And this is the part where things turn really, really quickly. Alright, so Julian's wife is suddenly just, you know, in this hypnosis, like I don't know, like high kind of state. At this point, she probably is dying, but Julian is so into, you know, like serving his destiny with Wick. He doesn't really care anything much. And then this scene right here where suddenly all his crew just levitates, and this is the part where I just like, whoa, what the hell is happening? and I was kind of like waiting for it because in Hellraiser this is what usually happens, but in the next Testament how it goes about is a little bit different because alright, let's go a little bit on the panel here. Right, so let's see. Right, did she wait, have I failed you? And so he scattered them upon the face of the earth. Then he was like confused. He's like, oh. Then he levitates everybody. Let's begin. Alright, you will show me this world through your eyes. So the crew members all levitate, and the next thing that happens, everybody dies to their death. They just drop, and just a whole massacre of dead bodies. So that got me into like, okay, wow, I really need to pay a little more attention to this series, because this is how Clive Barker does his stuff. And I mean, in the Hellraiser series, you pretty much know that people are going to die, but for this, I mean, it sets you up differently, because how could anybody that looks like that be so like evil, you know, like killing people without any thought? Like, look at that, those dead bodies. This is pretty crazy. Oh my god. So this guy has been around since the time of Jesus, or maybe before that, according to the Chronicles of Order. And here's an interesting part. I didn't burn the series to the ground because people were practicing sodomy. I was in Sodom at the time, enjoying the place for its very namesake, when in walked my brethren, spoil sports. I tried stopping them. Things got out of hand. So yeah, these guys, you would never really imagine God being an absolute douchebag, but in this week is pretty much an all-rounder like douchebag with a lot of powers. So yeah, I mean, like, make no mistake, he claims himself to be God, and he really does have godly powers, as in like the power to kill people instantly. Yes, he's pretty much there. To actually level an entire city with just a thought, he's pretty much there. So his godly powers, you know, is really different from Pinhead in Hellraiser, because Pinhead has to be there to his victim and such, but this guy, his power levels are really different from Pinhead. Like really godly powers, like passing judgment and stuff. Yeah, pretty crazy. But there are certain things where you do put into question, like if he is God, like why does he need to travel in a damn helicopter, which is really strange. So it does put you into question where, you know, like why does he have to wear a shirt and stuff, you know, wearing a tie, traveling in helicopters and such, mingling with people? Or he's just playing around with people's emotions, that because he's God, and like, you know, he does whatever he wants. Alright, moving forward to the middle of the page. So pretty much this is actually Julian's son, and they finally meet his dad. I mean, he meets his dad with his girlfriend, and Julian has this like so-called like open house party at his place, and a lot of important people just turn up and such. And again, all hell breaks loose, you know, like people, his guest, Julian's guest especially, doesn't really appreciate or believe that, you know, they are among godly figure, especially as colorful as Wick is. And of course, the next thing that happens, people die. The old lady's head, it just burst out. Yep, things got really crazy. And the thing that happened was that this guy asked, okay, enough with the bullshit. So you're God, right? Where are the miracles? And bam! Well, everybody starts to die. Like, everybody starts to die in the entire house. Very much familiar to the scene in Hellraiser and such, you know. People get murdered by chairs, you know, the waiters dying and stuff. People trampled to death. Like, man, really disturbing stuff that goes panel to panel. This is pretty much what is happening in the middle of the book so far. And so yeah, shattered glass, people getting killed left and right. And yeah, so there's one lady survivor who didn't survive so long, because she was smashed with a table while trying to go into the hole, and boy did she like went into smithereens. Very disturbing stuff. So yeah, pretty much that's the middle part of the book. And the survivors, of course, is Julian's son and his girlfriend. So moving forward, Julian's son Tristan survived and ran off, you know, to what he's you know, being lucky enough not to die. But it does question, like, you know, Wick being, you know, having godly powers. Does he intentionally miss Tristan, or you know, or is Tristan that lucky that he actually escaped the massacre that goes on so far? And so yeah, I mean, the couples are on the run for sure. And Julian, his father, doesn't really care at all. He's like this, what word to use? This really into disciple kind of thing, or worshipper that's so into Wick that he doesn't really question anything that goes on about, like the murders, the dead bodies, you know, the son being involved and whatnot. He doesn't really care about anything other than trying to please Wick. But Wick doesn't really see Julian as this you know, committed servant and such. He's just like a leech, and they just stick with each other for so long, and they don't. The dynamic of it is really strange, you know. Like Wick sees Julian as nothing more than just a pawn, but he just keeps Wick around. But he just keeps Julian around. I'm sorry about that, but doesn't really do anything. Julian just follows and doesn't really question the murders that goes on, which is pretty weird. So yeah, and then let's keep forward a little bit here to the chapter 4. So as you can see, that there's actually planes that is being, like, you know, crashing down to the sea. This is the work of Wick himself. He just wished or, like, you know, through his willpower, I suppose, just destroys airports and, you know, planes and such, and then smashing them into the ground, because he wants it to be in that way. Just because he wants to get, you know, Tristan's attention, so he just willed it out, which is pretty scary considering, you know, if they got like powers and you just abuse it. Pretty crazy. So alright, moving on. This is one of the last few pages where he just leveled a city, you know, just killing everybody because he wasn't satisfied with what was going on and such. So yeah, pretty much this is the ending of it. So hopefully not too much spoilers in this. Alright, so this is pretty much the browsing of what goes into the first volume of the Next Testament. I would say that, okay, now let's go into more details and stuff. Alright, so again, like I said earlier on, what got me interested into the book is because the name Clive Barker is somewhat of a name which I recognize, especially the stuff that he's done for the Hellraiser series. I mean, the franchise, the movie franchise, especially the stuff that he's written for Boom Studios, and now doing the Next Testament as one of his projects. Like, I'm really drawn to his style of horror in some sense, and being exposed to Hellraiser for quite a number of years and seeing this Next Testament, I would say it's a really big contrast to the horror. Like, the coloring that goes into this is really like trippy. Even like the cover itself, you wouldn't even know that it's an actual horror series unless you read it. I would say it's a refreshing take for me in terms of like horror genre itself. So yeah, so that's pretty much how got me attracted to the book. I mean, I know nothing about the Next Testament. When I saw the book at Kinokuniya at the time, I immediately tried to find some reviews online through my phone, and this the series was getting like 4 stars, 4.5 stars. So I had to pick it up. Like, I'll see what happens. If I don't like it, probably I sell it off. But so far it's been sticking with me, and I got volume 2 of this thing. So yeah, I think this is one of the series that's gonna be around for quite some time for me. I really enjoyed it so far. Alright, let's move on a little bit on the writing. Alright, the writing is been mostly been done by Clive Barker himself, but it's also being collaborated together with Mark Miller. Yeah, so Clive Barker and Mark Miller is kind of like a back and forth, like chipping ideas and stuff. So the writing, I would say, like, if you're into like the X-Men or Avengers, the Marvel superheroes, or Justice League, those action superhero things, those related kind of stuff, you're not gonna find in this book. There's nothing superhero about this book. This book is mostly being written upon the centralization of, like, trying to take something a little bit from the Bible, and and twist it around in a very horrific situation, and involving like God. People have different perceptions of what God is, or what God's supposed to look like. Everybody has their own perception, and in this book, basically God is an absolute asshole. That's what the book portrays right now. But then again, there are several panels where when you read it and then you question, like, is Wick really a god? Or is he some kind of being with a godly powers? For the first volume, if you read it, you don't really get the sense of what Wick really is, and so it makes you, like, it sets you up really good for you to go into volume 2 to really seek out whether volume 2 actually tells you more of what Wick really is, because the volume 1 doesn't really show like what Wick really is, but what he does and what he stands for is ultimate chaos. That's what is represented in volume 1. So for the writing, that's pretty much like, it's really on horror based kind of thing. You're not gonna find like superheroes, it's not detective work, and it's like two human beings trying to find some kind of salvation, and basically running away from a being that has godly powers. And how they do it, well, you gotta read it a little bit more. So yeah, if you were a fan of Hellraiser, pretty much the feel of it is nearly the same, but except for the color and the tone of it is really different, because this is really trippy, and this is quite a contrast in the art style of Hellraiser. But the feel of the horror, it's a familiar feeling if you're a fan of Clive Barker. So yeah, that's the writing of it. The art aspect of it, again, this is I'm a lot into the action genres, like Marvel and DC stuff and Valiant. So this is really a really refreshing thing. Like the last trippy comic I got myself a pleasure to read was Winter Soldier, of which I did not finish at the time because it was even as trippy as this was, or even maybe more. So for the drawing, I would say it's kind of clean. It's not that gritty as compared again to Hellraiser. So the panels are okay, the transitions are okay, and the coloring less saturated. But when Wick comes along, he just brings his color, because there are a few panels where he does mention that he's the god of color. So yeah, people are pretty dull in their colors, and once Wick goes into room, it just lights up, before he starts killing everybody, but it just lights up. But when the killing does goes on, there is a lot of blood that goes into the panels. And so yeah, the drawing, I would say it's alright. I kind of like it though. It's different. It's it has that like uniqueness tone to it, you only probably get this in this comic. So yeah, that's the drawing aspect of it. And overall value, I would say for $20, if you were to buy it at Kinokuniya in Singapore for $20+, it's okay. I think the price, it's alright. But if you have a membership card that is either 10% off or 20% off, I would definitely say grab it, because it's pretty good value, I suppose. But if you were to, you can also get this online at Book Depository. Definitely costs a lot cheaper. I think it's about like $15, $13, I think, around there. So plus it's free shipping, which is the bomb. I would say have a try. And if you can actually get this, if you don't want to get a hard copy of it, you can actually get it on digitally on Comixology. And on Comixology, I think it will probably cost around $3 or less, but if they have sales, probably cost like 99 cents. So you might have a preview, try to get a taste of the first issue and see how it goes from there, because I think the first issue itself is pretty good, a good introductory to it. So in this volume 1, it compiles between the issues, the single issues of 1 to 4. So for issues 1 to 4, having this chunk like that, I think is pretty worth it though, for getting it as a trade paperback. I don't think there's any hardcovers planned for this. Not too sure about that. But so yeah, a comic that's costing, volume 1 that costs around below $25, I say it's a good recommendation. I say grab it and have a taste of it. But if you're still in doubt and you have no idea about Clive Barker's writing, try to check out some of his other works in Hellraiser. You will definitely like it if you're into the horror genre. Pretty mindfuck at certain stuff. So yeah, for the Next Testament, if I were to give a rating out of 5, I would give this a 4. There are some stuff which doesn't really explain itself in the panels, but the artwork is great. I enjoyed it so far, and the story, the writing, it's okay. It's not messy, but it's okay. Like I said, there's certain things they just didn't explain. It just keeps you at the edge of the seat. That's what it does. Plus the value of it, the costing price, I think it's justifiable. I've seen stuff that is as same size as that but costs a lot more, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, this is pretty much the review I have for the Next Testament by Clive Barker, which is released by Boom Studios. This is volume 1. So pretty much the review, that's it for this. So yeah, I'm One from Cosmic Fury, signing off. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers.